This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we have started seeing of your CDS views, and then in that we have seen about your the symbols. We have seen about your numeric functions, so such as your ABS, silly, floor, and then we have seen about your division, modulo, and rounding off and everything. Now in today's class, we are going to see something called as your string functions. So what we do have the string functions. String functions. So if I want to do anything on a particular string or particular field, then we will be using the string functions. If I want to do, I want to perform any action, or any slicing of your data, for a particular field, or with a group of fields, then we will use these string functions. Now in this string we do have concat, so concat with the space, and we do have lpad, rpad, ltrim, rtrim, and then we do have something called as upper, lower, and upper, lower, and in string, and then we do have something called as your we have seen about your left and right. In string replace substring, left and your right. So these are the things. So if I go here, concat in string left, length also. There is one more thing I forgot to tell you, that length of your string. So next, lower, lpad, ltrim, replace, right, rpad, rtrim, substring, and upper. Now, as we already discussed about your concat, what it will do, it will concat two arguments. So if I want a space between those two arguments, then we need to use concat with space. So it will concat two arguments or two fields with a space separator. Now, coming to this, the next thing is we are going to see, we already seen about your concat and concat with space, and we have already seen about your example. And if I want a separator underscore, how I have to write your underscore also I have already shown you that. Okay, so now the next thing we are going to see is here ltrim. So this is used to remove the leading character what we provided. For example, I have a sales order. So sales order is of cat 10. So if I have a sales order with 1, what is my internal value? So 00, 00, 00, 00, and 01. So this is my internal value. Now I want this to be removed when I'm fetching the data. My requirement is I want to remove the leading zeros when I'm fetching the data from the SAP. So in order to remove your leading zeros, we will be using your ltrim. So whatever the character you want to remove from your left side of your field, only one single character you can able to remove at a time. Only one single character you can able to remove at a time. So whatever the first character you want to remove, or whatever the character you want to remove from the left side, starting from your left side, then we will be using your ltrim. Let's go ahead and see an example program. So CDS, I'm going to my data definition, and I'll be taking this as the $TMP, and then I'm just taking this as GCDS, the string operations. So CDS string operations, and now I'll just say click on next, 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 and finish. Now here I'll say this as ZCDS STROPE operations. Now let's say I want to get the data from VBAK table. So now what I will do, I will say key figure. So ltrim, and here what is your field name? The argument will tell us about your field name. So I want VBALN, and what is your character you want to remove? I want to remove my character 0. I want to remove my character 0, as I will say this as EXT sales ORD. I'm going to take this as EXT sales ORD. Now EXT sales ORD, and then whatever the fields you do have, whatever the fields you do have. So now I'll be having your ERDAT, ERNAM, VKORG, VTWEG, SPART. Let's take, these are the fields I have taken up. I'm just going to say Shift F1, and now what I will do, I'll go ahead and activate my code. I'll go ahead and activate my code. When I say click on my F8, now see here, it has removed your leading zeros. Let's take for this 20. If I go to Control 6, I'll just go to my table VBAK. SE16N. I'm going to my table VBAK, and now if I take this as 20, and now let's click on execute. I got the details of my 20. When I double click on this, see here, the internal number is this one. The internal number is this one. But now when I'm showing this in the output, it has just converted into 20. Now you can ask me, maybe they have written the conversion alpha exit and it is working fine. So in that case, what I will do, I will go ahead and show you that in your SQL view. I'll go ahead and show you that in your SQL view also. So copy this and go here and provide your SQL view name, and then say 20. And now click on execute. You got your data. Now if I double click on this, see here, the internal number is also your 20. The internal number is also your 20 only. The L-trim will remove the leading the characters which you want from the left side, or I can say the leading values. Now the next one is coming to your R trim. So the R trim, now the next one we are going to see is your R trim. R trim. So this is used to remove the characters, the single character from the right side, from your right side. From your right side, it will start looking up. Now, if you come here to your string operations, let's see here, for all these things, I'm going to remove my 0. I'm going to have my R trim, and what is my argument? VBELN. And what is my character? I want to remove it as 0. And I'm going to take this as R trim. I'm going to take this as my R trim. Now, if I say activate this one, now when I click on execute, if I say F8, now see here, why it's not removed? Sorry, see here, it has removed. It has removed. But see, at the last, it's not equal to 0. That's why it has not removed this one. At the last, it's not equal to 0. That's why it's not removed this one. So 002, 003. For all these values, it has removed. Now, if I want to remove the L trim and R trim, both the things, so then I can say here, after this, I can say L trim. So the first operation, the R trim will work, and then I'll just going and saying this as your left trim, L trim. See, both operations it is performing right now. It will perform both your operations. So now let's click on execute. So now it's still checking for the syntax errors. Now it's trying to activate. Now it's got activated. Now if I say F8, see here, it will do your left trim as well as it will do your right trim. It will done your left trim as well as it has done your right trim. So when we will be using this, whenever you want to fetch the data from your database, and by default, I don't want the leading zeros to be gets from my database. By default, my leading zero should not be gets from my database. For example, let's take an example. I'll tell you an example. Now, paint. So what I am doing, I have a sales order. I have a sales order in SAP. Now, with reference to this sales order, or I have a PO number, PO in SAP, PO number in SAP, with reference to the PO, we are creating the sales order. For example, now in the reference of your sales order, in the reference of the sales order, I'm passing my PO number. I'm passing my PO number, and user is saying that my PO number, and user is saying I don't want to see the leading zeros, the leading zeros in the reference, because reference can accept whatever it wants. Now, We have done the enhancement and we have passed the sales order number by removing the leading zeros. Now I need to create a report. I need to create a report which has to show me the list of POs that are created for a sales order, for your sales order. Now in these cases, because as you are not passing your leading zeros, but when you are getting the data from VPAK, we will get the data with leading zeros. Now I don't want this leading zeros to be transferred. I don't want the leading zeros to be transferred to my PO. So in those cases, when I was fetching the data, I will use my LTrim. So this is one of your example where you have to use your LTrim. So you can just tell that. So this is one of the scenario where I have used my LTrim in your interviews. Okay. Now coming to this, the next thing. What is the next thing we do have? We do have is your upper. So what is meant by this upper? Upper is used to convert the string into your upper format, upper slash lower, which is used to convert the string into upper and your lower. Upper and your lower. Now I do have my XBLNR. See, I do have my XBLNR. This is the reference document number. So in this reference document number, I can convert that into my upper. So here you just need to pass your string, whatever the field you want, you just pass your string. So that's it. To see as reference document, as your reference document. And the same way, lower of, so let's say I'm just going to pass SAP S4 HANA, S4 HANA as lower one, as your lower one. So now what I will do, I'll just say shift F1 and now I'll just activate my code. Now what I will do, if I say F8, it will just go ahead and convert that into your lower cases. If you have any documents, if you have provided any reference documents, that will be gets converted into your upper cases. So in the same way, if I want, I will just show you with your string also. So upper I can say 8 AM ABAP on HANA batch. So as I will be saying this as upper one, as your upper one. Now when I say shift F1 to set this code, and now let me activate this one. And now let's click on your execute. If I say execute this one, it will see it has changed to your upper. So this is how you can use your upper and as well as your lower. Oh, shit. This is how you have to use your upper and as well as your lower. Now the next operator we are going to see is your left. I'll just go ahead with the upper lower in string. So what is meant by this in string? So now in string. So this will search for your string, whether that is available or not. So if I go here and if I say 8 a.m., 8 a.m. ABAP on HANA batch, and what I will do, I'll search for a string called HANA. I'll search for a string called HANA. And now as in string, as INSTR1. So now let me show you this one. So what the output is. Now let me go ahead and activate this one. And now when I click on execute, let me say F8. Now you can see here the position of that in string. So where is that position available? If I want to know the position of your particular string, if I want to know the position of your particular string, then you need to use your in string. I just want to know the position. Okay, so in that case, we will be using your in string. So if I go here and I will say, I want to know where my string is lying in the, where my substring is lying, where my substring is lying in the main string. Yeah, main string. So that we will be using your in string. Now the next operator we are going to see is here. What is the next operator we do have? We have seen concatenate, in string, and left. So I want left. So what is meant by this? Left. I want to move the string to the, I forgot about this, whether it's a left side or a right side. Just give me 1 second. Left string, let's take this as SAP ABAP, and let me go it as 3. So this I'll be getting confused as left 1. So shift F1, and now let's activate this one. And now if I say, let me remove this one, and if I say, yeah, fade, yeah. See, if I want to get the first characters, how many characters you want to get from your particular string, then you have to use your left. I want to know, I want to get the particular characters from the left side. I want to get the particular characters from the left side. Then I will use this operator left. Now the next one is with your right. So I want to get the particular characters from my right side. I want to get particular characters from the right side. Then I will use this operation. Now if I go here and if I say the right, and I'll be saying the SAP ABAP, and I'll just say here it as 4, as I'm going to say this as your right. Now shift F1 and control F3. Sorry, right is a function, scalar function. You should not provide this as. So that's the issue. It's got activated. Let me remove this and let me add your F8. See here, from from the last four characters that has been fetched from your string. From your string, if I want to fetch how many characters from the right side, so then you have to use your right. So from the string, how many characters you want to fetch from your left side, then you have to use your left. Then you have to use your left. So this is how you have to use your left string, up string, upper, and everything. Now, the next syntax we are going to see is your, so we have seen the length of a string. To find out the length of your string, length. This is used to find the length of a string. This is used to find the length of your string. Now let's say if I want to say this as the length. See how I'm going to use that in one single thing, how I'm going to use multiple things. How I'm going to use multiple things. And let me close this one. And now if I say shift F1 and now control F3. So I'll be getting my length as, what is my output? 4. See the length as your 4 always. So because you have provided that, you have taken the length as your 4. Now in this it is reading my first 4 characters and then it is showing my length. Let's take for example, I'm not going to provide, I'm just going to provide BAP. So now see here the right length must be, see, right specified length is greater than the parameter. So here whatever the length you have specified is greater than your parameter. So that's the issue. But if I take this as, let's take, I'll be going ahead with ERNAM. ERNAM, because the ERNAM length is 12 characters. So now I'm going to get my 12 characters, or I will be taking this as VBELN, and then I will be just doing my L trim, and then I'll just pass my sales order number, comma 0, and then see how I'm going to do this. First, I want to do my L trim. So this is my first thing, L trim. So I have done my L trim of this. I don't need this one. Next, I'm going to do my right, and then I'm going to find out my length. Now see this one. So control shift F1 and then control F3. Now if I take this as F8, now see here what is the length of your characters. So what is the length? It is trying to change your length automatically. How many operations you want, you can perform those many operations. Now if I say concat of this one, comma ERNAM. So concat okay. Now, see this, you are getting a format called as incorrect data type. Now, when it is fetching this data type, it is showing me it as incorrect data type. So now in order to convert that into your original data type, you have to use a operator called as your casting operator. Your casting operator. So now I'm going to use this cached operator. Cached. So what I will be doing, as int4, and then I'm going to use my ERNAM. So now let's see this. Position as incorrect data type. I have provided the same, right? So this is my L trim. This is my right. This is for my length. So L trim, and this is my right, and this is for your length, and this is for your cached. Cached, no, first field is sufficient as int04. I'm going to take this as int04, or let me take this as ABAP cap, and then I'm going to take this as length 10. Okay, now see this. Now what I was doing, so I'm going to convert this everything. So this is what your casting operator. So once you got the value, so this value can be in a form of your hexadecimal or anything internally. Now I was converting that value with your ABAP char. So in order to convert any value, what you are going to get into a specific data type. So the casting, this operator is used to convert the value from one data type to another another data type. Now what I was doing, I might get the length of the string, and I'm going to convert that into my character. If I go ahead and say ABAP underscore whatever you have, so whatever you have, you can just use that. So if I say ABAP integer 8, or I can say this as int8, but still it is showing this as error only. So instead of int8 does not exist or does not active, so let me go with int4. So int4, we are getting one more error, so that's the reason what I have done. I have converted. So parameter has incorrect data type. So instead of that, we mainly use this as abap.char, and what is your length? So I'm just going to provide my length. So I'm just shaking this as shift F1. So now I'll just go ahead and activate this one. And now if I say this as my F8, the answer will be the same. 4, and what is your thing? So the username is your best. What is your thing? So the username is your best. So you have done your concatenations, you have done your finding of your length, you have done your trimming, and you have also removed the leading you're also getting only the first 4 characters. You are getting the first 4 characters. First one is you're removing the leading zeros, and then after this you are getting the first 4 characters, and after that you are finding out the length of that string. After that you are doing the casting operator and converting that into your required data type, and which you are concatenating with your ERNAM. So this much length you can able to do that. So like this you can do how many you want based upon your requirement. You can go ahead and do those many activities in one single line of code. Now you can ask me, can I go ahead and do the same thing in my SE80 also? Sorry, in SE38, I'll just show you that one also. You can able to do that one. I'll show you that one. Now, what is the next one after your length? After your, so we have seen about length, in string, concatenate with the space, the left, right, L pad. L pad. So what is this padding? So L pad. So what is meant by this? So this is used to add, this is used to add the number of characters, the number of same character, So on the left side, on the left side, on your left side. For example, let me give you an example, then it will be clear. So now I have my VBA ln, so which is of length 10 characters, right? But in the output, I want to display it as 20 characters. My third party is saying that the sales order number you have to send me as 20 characters, and of and the first 10 characters add as X, add it as your X, add it as your X. So in those cases, you will be using your L pad. If I go ahead with my L pad, now what is my string? What is my argument? VBALN. And what is my length? My length is my 20 characters. And what is the scalar value I want to add? I want to add it as my X. As I'm going to take this as L pad 1. I'm going to take this as my L pad 1. If I say shift F1, it will just get aligned, and then control F3. So it's got activated. Now if I go ahead and say F8, now see, it has added your 10 axis and then your value. You have added your 10 axis and your value. So in those cases, you have to use your L pad, but only one single character you can able to add at a time. Only one single character you can add at a time. Now let's take for example, so my user is saying, my user is saying, uh, we need to pass the sales order number to the external system, to my external system, and user is saying I don't want zeros, I don't want the leading zeros, instead I want X, instead I want it as X. Okay, wherever the zeros are there, that I want to bit as X. You can use an operator called as your replace also, but you can also do that with this. So what I'm going to do, the first thing is the ltrim of what is my field, VBALN, comma, I'll just say my 0, and then I'll be writing my LPAD. And then I'll just use my ltrim, and now I'm going to take this as length 20, and then I'm going to say this as your X, and I'm going to say this as your X as the external sales order, as my external sales order, or third party sales order 1, because as we already use here the external sales order number. So now when I say shift F1 and then control F3, Now see here, it will just do your trimming and then it will be gets adding of your data. F8. Now see this one, it will just trim your data and it has added. It will just trim your data and it has added. See how many x's are there. So 19x and one, this one. So see here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 19 and 20 and 20. So this is what, so this is what you have to do it in case of your LPAD. Okay, clear with this? Any questions, girls? So now the next operator is your RPAD. Similarly to your LPAD, the RPAD will also work. So if I want to add my characters at my right side, RPAD, I want to add RPAD. Sorry, RPAD. And what is my string? Let's take, I want to add my VKO RG and the length 6 character. And what is your pattern? Here you can pass your pattern. So let's take XX. I want to pass as or XY as RPAD 1. RPAD 1. I'm just going to take this as Shift F1, Control F3. Control F3, and then if I go ahead with my F8, now you can able to see, instead of that, what I will do, I'll just comment my previous ones, whatever I do have, so that I can have some space. Okay, so I'm just going to take this as Control Shift F1 and then F3. I'm just going to activate my code, and then if I say F8, now see this XY, 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 whatever the pattern you are providing, it's just showing this one. Here you can able to send your pattern on the right side, but on your left side, you can able to pass only your single value. So try with the pattern whether it is working or not, but for sure, I think it won't work, but you go ahead and try that one. Okay, so now the last and the final statement we do have is, so we have the replace as well as your substring. So these are the two statements I do have. So replace. So this keyword is mainly used to replace a string. This keyword is mainly used to replace the main string with, so replace, it will use replace the main string with substring, with your substring. So now let's take this as your SAP ABAP. So I'm just going to take this as the SAP ABAP. Now in this, I want to check whether I do have my field called as ABAP, and this I want to replace with what I will be saying X, Z, 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 Z. So now as replace 1, I'm just going to take this as replace 1. Now what it will do, it will just check whether we do have the string available. If the string is available, then it will just go ahead and replace with this value. It will just go ahead and replace with this value. If I take shift F1 and then control F3 and then F8. Now see here, it has been replaced with ZZZ. So if it has find out the string, let's take for example ABA F8. Sorry, it's gone through your debugging. Control F3. And now see this, if I take this as F8, now it will be showing it as ABA only because it doesn't find that string value. It doesn't find the string value. If it is finding out the string, it will just go ahead and replace that one. If it doesn't able to find, it won't be able to replace that one. Now the last operator we do have is your substring. The last operator we do have is your substring. Here you can find out the value of your substring AP. So R underscore substring. So what is the value you want to fetch? So from the second value, I want to read my 3 values. From the second value, I want to read. So if I take this as substring, so what is my argument? My field name. I'll be taking this as ERNR, so I'll be taking this as ERDAT. I just want to know from position. What is my position? So from 5 after your 2. 5 after your 2 as length. Sorry, as your month. I just want to get my month of my ERDAT. Sorry, this is my field name, ERDAT. Now if I take this as shift F1 and then I'm going to take this as control F3. What happened? Check this. Production issue. Not showing anything. Replace month. Why it is showing this as an issue? Let's see this. Get this one. Okay, month keyword is reserved. So you need to use another one. So I'm just going to with month 1. So now if I take this as F3, now if I go ahead and say F8, now you can see here the month is going to show you up. Now in SAP ABAP, what you will be doing in SAP ABAP, if I want to read the month, what you will be doing, so you will be saying ERDAT plus 4 of, you will be saying your 2, right? So but here from which point you want to read, from which position you want to read, you have to provide that. And after that, how much length? So 5. So 5th one and 6th one I want to read. Now let's say I want to read the date. Let's say I want to read the date. So in that case, what I will do, I'll be taking this as substring. So ERDAT. What is my position? So my first position and my length is 4 as year. Now I'll be taking this as substring. Next thing is ERDAT, comma. So 7, comma 2 as the date, as my date. So like this, you have to read your month, year, and date. Month, year, and date. If I take this as shift F1 and I'm going to take this as control F3. So year and date are reserved words. So let's go ahead and change that one to your year 1 as well as your date 1. So now I'll just going to take this as control F3. Now if I take this as F8, Now you can able to see here the year as well as your date, the year as well as your date. So this way you can able to use your string operations. This way you can able to use your string operations. How to use this in your SE38 program, that we will be checking in your tomorrow's session. By this we have completed all your string operations, the casting operations as well as your numeric operations. Now the next operations we do have is your date and currency operations, the conversion functions. I just need to see the conversion functions, and then you do have your currency conversion as well as your date conversion. So what are the different things, whether the date is valid? So these are different types of functions that has been provided by SAP, you can able to directly use that in your program. See here, if I want to find out the number of days, so what is your days? So like this, if you want how many things you want, you can just go ahead and use these functions. So I'm just going to show you that in your tomorrow's session. So that's the end of today's session. Before I signing off for today's session, any other questions? Any other questions? So try to practice this in your regular ABAP, at least the Altrim, whatever I have just shown you. If your system is in HANA, then you can able to use this. Even if you're not able to using of your HANA, in the world syntaxes also, you can able to use this concat and everything. You can able to use this. You go ahead and try when you get a chance, or when you are working on any support, any tickets or any new developments. Okay, so that's all for today, and we'll meet you tomorrow at the same time, and we'll continue our session. So thank you all.